As you can see, fellas, told there's no curtain, so you had to see me warm up there without a curtain in front of me here. Well, the reason that we're here today, and the reason that I'm here today is I'm very honored to be your TLI keynote speaker while I'm down here, and I'm so happy to be here this morning with you guys to give a talk which is called The Elevator to Success is Broken, Take the Stairs. Now the question for everyone in the room here is anybody in the room here attempting to achieve more success in their life by show of hands?
I am.
Okay, just checking. Now the reason that I asked that question is because when you make a decision that you want to achieve more in your life, when you want to have more productivity, you want to create more income, you want to create more opportunities for yourself, you come to this great awakening about life. Is that there are obstacles in the way, that there are challenges in the way. And you start to realize that it's your mindset and how you think about things that allows you to achieve more success. So this talk is really about those steps you take to achieve more success. Now before I get started with that, it's important that you see this right here, my actual story. See, I spent a little over 10 years in a very sexy industry, everybody. I spent over 10 years in the world of insurance, everybody. 10 years.
Yes! That is sexy.
It's a sexy industry. During that time, I was claims adjuster. I was also a corporate trainer. But during that time, I was also part of 5 downsizes and mergers. 5 times where companies were letting people go, they were expanding, they were contracting, and I was there during that time. And they put me in a role as a trainer during that time period to help guide people through that process, to help them understand what we were going through. And as I started to talk to people about what we were going through, I came to this great discovery. Nobody likes change. Did you know that, everybody? No one's a fan of it. So I began to think about, like, I'm describing this as a change, but really, what is it? It's a transition. And suddenly I said, that's how I'm going to explain this to everybody, that we're going through a state of a transition right now, and I'm going to be a guy that's going to guide you through it. And I'll be the guy that guides you through it because who am I? The transition man. So that's actually how I got my name, the transition man. And once I got that name, I found this slide right here, and I thought about it, and I said, this right here truly reflects who I am as an individual right here. This one right here. I wear a mask, and that mask is not to hide who I am, but to create what I am. And the transition man is who I became. And suddenly I realized that my job was to guide people through a process of understanding and discovery. So after those 10 years, my job got phased out as well. Because I was in the training department, they phased that job out. And since then, I've been a professional speaker for the last 18 years, touring the country. And during that time of touring the country and doing presentations, I started coming to some great discoveries. Because as a speaker, I'm still a business owner and an entrepreneur. And I came to this great understanding about success. That success is not easy. Success is challenging. Success has its pitfalls and its hurdles. Then I started to realize no matter how much talent and ability and skill you have, there are these obstacles that you have to deal with. So that people want to do business with you, people want to give you opportunities. And I started to think to myself, it's a mindset thing here. I have to think a certain way to deal with the situations that I am facing. Because as I said before, you can have all the talent, all the ability, but if no one gives you the opportunity, you've got to really think about how do I create opportunities. Now for many in the room here that may have heard me speak somewhere else before, I came down and I was actually your MC for the spring conference. Who was there for that? Yeah. Well, let me explain to you about that journey. I originally wanted to just speak for that conference and do a workshop. Now I'm an accredited speaker. There's only 69 of us in the world. But what did I do? Because I wanted to speak in your district, I filled out the form online. I want to be a workshop presenter online. I filled the form out. And I filled the form out because I believed that if I filled out the form and shared what I wanted to share, that I could possibly be selected. But I did it because I enjoy the work and I believe in what I do. A lot of times when it comes to your own success, you can have talent in a certain area, and sometimes you think to yourself, well, maybe I shouldn't have to go through this kind of process because of my talent and ability. But if you believe in what you are doing, then you will go through these steps, this process of building yourself up, but also this process of dealing with other individuals and understanding where they're coming from. As an entrepreneur, business owner, it's so important to understand where the customer's coming from, where other people are coming from, even though you have the talent and ability to help them. So this elevator that I give this metaphor of, that in life, the elevator is always broken. But the stairs, if you take the steps, are always available to you. So let's take some steps here. Our mission is how to have more success in life. Everybody look up there and tell me what you see. Look closer.
Map of the world.
Everybody see the map of the world now? Oh. See, the reason I show this is because opportunities are around you every single day if you're looking for them. Opportunities are always around you if you're looking for them. Any area of life you want to improve and grow in and take that next step, you have to be looking for the opportunity. The opportunity I saw was I wanted to speak back here in this district again. And when the workshop call for speakers came out, that was the opportunity right there. Now I could have looked at it and said, hey, I don't really want to apply online. But I said, no, that's an opportunity. The moment I did that opportunity there, took advantage of that, the next thing you know, your district director calls me up and says, well, Tebow, because I basically was Tebow. She said, our starting quarterback is down and you are the backup quarterback now. And I became your MC for the weekend. Because someone else had something going on in their family or in their life that prevented them from being the MC for that weekend.
He had a heart attack.
Oh, well, there you go. He had something. I didn't really know. But I knew that I had to step up and fill that spot. And that's what you do. When you have talent, ability, and dreams and goals, you're always looking for opportunities for you to step in and play that position, to do that certain thing there. So it's all about opportunities and seeing them. Now, when it comes to these opportunities, and I want everyone to think about whatever your dream and goal is, the thing that you really want to accomplish, and I want you to look at what I'm going to share as a blueprint behind your dreams and goals. Something that you can follow in order to accomplish your dreams and goals. See, when I was working in corporate America, individuals would say, well, Johnny, they're going to phase out my job. And I was this guy. Anyone ever see the movie Up in the Air with George Clooney before? I was this guy. I had to actually be in there and talk to them about them leaving the organization because of a phase out. And the biggest thing that I saw was everyone was defining themselves by their career. And I said, you have to unbundle your skill sets and look at what you've accomplished here. Look at all the things they can't take away from you here. Yeah, they'll take away your fob, your key fob. Yeah, you won't work here anymore. But all the skills, all the abilities, everything you've learned, you get to keep. You have to redefine yourself based on your terms. Do not let your job, your career define who you are. Because if they take it from you, you are lost. You are lost. How do I know? I experienced the same thing everyone else did. When they phased out my job. I was a trainer in corporate America, and all of a sudden they phased out my job and I was lost. And I had to suddenly take in my own advice. I had to really think about what I had said to other people and said, I'm going to apply everything that I've said to everyone else, and I'm going to unbundle my skills, and I'm only going to do the things that I do extremely well. Everything else I had about my job that I hated, I'm not going to do as an entrepreneur. I'm only going to do the things I do well, and that's what's allowed me to be a professional speaker, full-time, everyone, no side jobs. My wife is not independently wealthy. I don't own real estate except the house I live in. This is all I do. I travel the country and deliver talks. I create books and CDs. That's it. I have no other side business going on. Because I unbundled my skills and I identified the specific things I do well, and I said, that's what I'm going to double down in life. I'm going to double down on what I do extremely well, and I'm going to let everything go. And that's the mindset you have to have when you're an entrepreneur. You have to figure out what you do extremely well, focusing on that. Now, if you work for a company, it's important, or you own a company, it's important to say, this is what I do well as a business owner. Everything else I need to hire someone else for or delegate to someone else. Because the better I am at what I do, the more this organization will grow. The more I will personally prosper. That's the mindset you have to have. And so the secret to success comes down to this right here. What do you believe? What do you actually believe about yourself? When you're trying to take that next step, what do you believe to be true about you? A lot of people question themselves. They question who they are and what they're about. But anyone that you've ever seen that was successful was clear on who they were. There's an important thing that most people don't think about when it comes into the personal development world. It's called self-awareness. It's to understand who you are, what you're about, why you want what you want, and to see yourself in the clearest light possible. And I began to really do a deep dive into this type of research. And I don't mean research like reading a bunch of books. I started looking at life. I became a student of life. And I started understanding what was pushing folk to succeed in life. And a lot of things that cause people to succeed aren't always the things that are in books. And I said, wow, I'm going to document and I'm going to live this kind of life. And the materials I create are going to be based on what people actually are doing. There's one thing, you heard people say one thing and do another, everybody? It's they say this, but they're doing this. And I started saying, what are they actually doing? You know, people tell me, well, Johnny Campbell, let me tell you something. You want to be successful? You got to believe. And I was like, in what? In what? Well, you got to believe in yourself. I said, okay, I believe in myself, but what else? That's all. That's what they told me when I was beginning to be a speaker. And I had no gigs. I said, I believe. But I said, you know what? I believe that I can serve other people with my skill set. I believe I know what I am, what I do best, and I'm going to find the people that have a problem that what I do best can serve. So I do believe in myself, but I got real clear on who I am supposed to serve, who I'm supposed to help. Everyone in the room here is designed to serve someone else. Sometimes it's a person, sometimes it's a group, sometimes it's a state or community. But everyone's designed to serve somebody, and if you figure out who you're supposed to be serving with your skills and abilities, it gets real easy in life. You're not struggling anymore to find opportunities or see opportunities because you have self-awareness. Who I am, why I do what I do, and who I serve with all of this. Suddenly, life gets clearer, and you start to move toward things a lot more aggressively and a lot more confidence. So I started coming up with this realization and understanding, and I started to teach everybody. I said, the first goal in life is to get to self-awareness. Who am I? What am I? Then you get finally to self-acceptance. This is what I am, flaws and all. And you get good with that. Not worried about what other people think about you or what other people have to say. And then you finally get to what they talk about in Maslow, self-actualization. Everyone's heard of that before, haven't you? That's when you actually visualize and you have the courage to take action in creating what you want. I didn't say you visualize and it shows up, because that's the secret. I said you visualize what you want and you have the courage to take action on the things you want to have in your life and who you want to serve. But most of us work at self-awareness, understanding who we are. That's where we struggle. And so that's what I said, that's the process. Self-awareness first. So what do you believe about yourself? And here's the greatest lesson about it. When it comes to being successful, it's about how you see yourself, how you see the situation, and how you see yourself getting through situations in life. When you're trying to take the stairs to your success, and you say, well, that's where I want to go. How do you see yourself in the journey? Are you ready, prepared? Or do you have other things corrupting your mind at that moment? The situation, do you see yourself big enough to accomplish it? Or do you feel like the situation is bigger than you? And then third, you going through that situation. Do you think you can survive? Can you make it? All of these are questions that we struggle with. But when we come to understanding who we are and we have the support and encouragement around us, we can accomplish these things. That's when it becomes possible. Everything that I started to understand was very practical and things you could do every day. And so that's why I started to say to myself, what I'm going to share with people are things they can do every day, things that they can measure, things that they can see. And I came to this great understanding for everyone in the room here. You don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. You get in life exactly what you are. When you say to yourself, I want to become a professional speaker, or I want to become this great entrepreneur, the question is, are you willing to become that? Are you willing to become it? Most people aren't willing to become. They just want to be this thing. I want to be a speaker and have all that comes with a speaker. But you're not willing to become one. And then people say, well, what does that mean? You got to pay. You got to put some money out. You got to put some time out. Anytime someone tells you this, and this is a life lesson for everyone in the room here. Anytime someone tells you that you can do whatever you want to do for free, no money down, no commitments, you need to step back and pause for a moment. Everything requires money. Everything does. Everything requires time and commitment. Because you are becoming something. Think about what you are today. Did you just suddenly wake up and become in the career you are right now? Did you become that? You invested time and money and development and coaching and training to do the job that you currently do right now. And I could look at anyone in here in their life and say that to them. And said, if we just sat down with a calculator and added it all up, you probably spent thousands of dollars to become who you are today. But yet, when it's time to take that step to the next place in your life, you don't want to spend any money. Most people don't want to invest in anything. They just want it to happen. Even when you're trying to advance your current career right now, there is time and money involved in that. When you want to go pro, when you want to go to that next level, there's always that commitment. And the reason I tell you that is because that's the truth. That's what most personal development people will not say to you, will tell you the truth. Now, I'm not saying that you have to spend a lot of money, but you do have to make that investment in yourself. Because you have to become it in order to have whatever that is. You have to be that thing. Because you're going to go against adversity. You're going to go against things that you try to develop yourself. You're going to go against stuff. And you becoming it is so important of that. When I wanted to become a professional speaker, I was a speaker and I started working on it. I developed myself. But then the economy shifted back. Anybody remember 2008? Mm-hmm. Well, let me tell you something. Half of my business was government at that particular time. I spoke to government companies about change management, leadership, and success. I was not singing songs for them. I was not playing in a band. But yet, the government and the media realized that government people were enjoying too much stuff. And then they cut everything off. And I was one of those people. They just cut it off. They said, we don't want no more training or development right now until we reassess. Then the marketplace crashed. Because I knew what I had wanted to become, because I was that, I said, I'm going to find a way to continue with my work. And I never lost a beat during that time period. I just made the adjustment because I said, this is what I want to do and this is what I am. See, when you become whatever it is, you can deal with the turbulence of the situation you're dealing with. It's when you are not willing to become it that it becomes difficult. So understanding the journey of your success, here's a real simple way to look at it. Your clear vision and a clear result. You have a vision of where you want to go, but a result. What is supposed to happen? A lot of times people don't ever ask themselves that. Like, I'm doing a program, for TLI, I'm going to be doing a program, it's called Your Dreams Need a Due Date. That's what I'm going to be doing. Your dreams need a due date. You know what happens when your dreams have a due date? It's called a goal. Most people that have a due date, like in the room here, think about it. Do you have a date when all the good stuff's supposed to happen in your life? You got a date for that? Like when all the good stuff's supposed to happen. You don't have a date. I got a date when it's all supposed to come to me. And you know why? Because every part of my life has a due date on it. Anyone have bills in here? Don't they have a date on it when they like to see it happen? Yes. You think about your employer right now. Don't they have like a date when you're supposed to be at work, like the day and time you're supposed to be at work? There's time supposed to happen, right? The time to get off of work. Everybody's got due dates, but you in your own life. Your dreams need a due date when things are supposed to happen. And watch how magically things do happen when you put dates on things. Isn't it amazing how when you have a project doing your job and they give you a due date, isn't it magical how it suddenly happens on that date? Just extraordinary, isn't it? That's how dates are when you put them on yourself. What do you want? What do you want to achieve? And how will you know you got it? A lot of times when it comes to you being more successful, you have to know what it looks like. And you not only that, know when you got it. Because here's what happens to you. Uh-oh, here comes another life lesson. When you know that you got it, you can be happy. Can you believe that? When you know that you got what you're looking for, you have no excuse but to be happy. Now, I didn't say you had to be content. I said you can be happy. Because when you're happy, you have more confidence in yourself when you accomplish things. That's the lesson about knowing when you got it. You know, like I said, I'm a professional speaker, and I am happy to be a speaker. I continue to want to be better, but every day I wake up knowing that I'm a speaker, I am happy. Because this is what I wanted to do. This is what I wanted to become. In your own life, you got to think about that. What is it that I really want to become? And work toward that, because that's where your happiness is, in the working for it, but also in the achieving of it. Where are you now? Whenever you're taking that next step in life, you got to be honest where you are standing at that moment right there. Where are you at right now? You say to yourself, this is what I want to become. I got clear on that. This is what I want to become. This is what I want to do in my life. Where am I at right now? Not in fantasy, not in dreams. Where am I? You have to be honest where you're starting from. When I started my career as a speaker, as an entrepreneur, I had been working in corporate America 10 years. I had no personal relationships with anyone. I had no leads. I had no referrals. I had nothing when I started. Just an idea and a program that I knew could benefit people. That's all I had was an idea and a program. And I said to myself, this is what I want to do. But I got no leads, no referrals. So what do I do? Now this is 1999. I'm going to date myself here for a moment. You know what I did, everybody? Because I was clear on what I wanted to have in my life. I had a product, which was my program and presentation. I cold called everybody. Isn't that awful? I picked up the telephone. I said, what do I have around me where I'm at? All I got is the phone. And I said, I got the yellow pages. That's it. I got a phone and the yellow pages. And I'm going to throw this book over and I'm going to find a directory of associations. And I'm just going to pick up the phone and I'm just going to start to dial. And I'm going to call everyone in this phone book. And I'm going to wait till someone says, yeah, that'll work, Johnny. Are you available? Yeah, I'm available right now. I can show up in the morning right now if you like. Because I didn't have nothing going on. But that's what you got to be honest where you are. Some people always tell me, well, Johnny, I'm getting ready. You ever heard people say that before? I'm getting ready. When I have the right situation, when I have the right time, when the kids are grown up, when this bill is paid, when this life issue is past me, now I can do it. And you know what? There's always another issue. No one has problem-free life. There's always a problem coming up. There's always one on the horizon, one that's bubbling in the back. But yet people are always waiting on something. I'm like, what are you waiting on? You got to do it right now. I said, this is all I got. And I said, I will build from this. That's how you have to look at your life at times. Stop waiting on these other things to happen because they're not going to happen. You know, they're going to always be there. They're just going to take on a new form, a new shape. You got to think about it. Say, you know what? I've heard something that makes a difference in my life. I've seen some things that I want to do, and I'm going to start now. And I'm going to build as I go. No one starts more from the bottom when you say, I had to cold call my way into my career. You know, that's it. I had to cold call. I didn't have any references or anything. But the moment I got the first person to say yes, that's when it starts. The moment the first person said yes, that's when referrals start. That's when leads start. That's when opportunities start. But you got to get somebody to say yes. And so I just said, you know what, I'm just going to keep calling. And I did all of this before I was even a part of Toastmasters. I didn't join Toastmasters until 2001. I'd already been a speaker out here on my own. Didn't even know what Toastmasters was and discovered it by accident. By accident did I discover it. And I said, oh my goodness, this is an organization that I can get in and I can become an even better speaker. So I want you to understand something when you deal with people in Toastmasters. Some people come from just totally different places. Some people have a total fear. But there are other people who come in who have a natural skill and ability, and what they need from you is structure. That's what they need more than anything else. They need to learn structure because they will become even more powerful. Because I've seen people that speak off the cuff eloquently, but they really cannot duplicate what they have done. I can get on stage and duplicate, not verbatim, but I can duplicate the effect that I want to create every single time on stage because of Toastmasters. It's the structure that we teach. It's also leadership. It's also all these other things. But for those that come in here that have a natural ability, especially salespeople who come to Toastmasters, especially salespeople who already believe in their mind they're like good speakers, but they're not really. They're not. And I said, I will take you apart on stage. We can do the exact same presentation to a client, and I will burn you because I understand structure and you do not. It is what makes me a superior speaker to one that's a natural who can just do it off the cuff. Because they can't duplicate themselves. They can't duplicate what they've done. They'll have good days and bad days. When you learn structure, you have consistently good days. And you can fix your errors. When someone's a natural and they don't have any training, they can't fix what they're doing. Because it's all intuitive. It's all out of their gut. That's a powerful thing about Toastmasters. That's why I've always stayed in. I've been a Toastmaster for 16 years now. 16 years a Toastmaster. I'm a DTM along with an accredited speaker, so I've served the district as well. The reason I tell you that is because when it's understanding where you are, I had a natural ability, but I wasn't too big to not believe I could not grow from Toastmasters. Because I knew where I was. I understood where I wanted to be. So that's why I share that under being honest of where you are, but not waiting until some special moment in life to take action on the things you believe in and the things you want to discover and become in your life. It is saying, this is where I'm at. I got a little bit of money. I got a little bit of time. Well, you need to start. You just need to start. Begin. Because that's the only way you're ever going to make the real time and the real money that you might want to make. You got to start where you are and accept that and not say things aren't perfect. Because I know so many people that want to be a speaker, and they always tell me the same thing. Johnny, once I get my brochure together, once I get my website together, I'm like, what? All you need is a title and a description, and a client and someone on the phone. I'll tell you real quick, one of my first programs I did for business people was a group, it was a group, it wasn't Amish, Mennonites. So it was Mennonites. One of these first groups that paid me. And you know how the Amish are, the people of the land, and Mennonites don't have a lot of money, but I didn't care, man. Work is work, man. I wanted to speak. And they said, we're looking for, Johnny, they called me up. I don't know how they found my number. They called me up and they said, well, we're looking for a program on networking. And I didn't have a program on networking, but I said to myself, let me think about it. How about a program it's called Build Your Net Worth Through Networking. Does that sound good? He said, that sounds great. And I said, well, now I got to write it up. You know, here, write this up. And I just thought about what I did to network. I just thought of a title. I sold them a title. But I said, I'll tell you what, in 60 days, there will be a program. I will have rehearsed it. I will have prepared it. That's why dates are important. Now that program, I've done that program for the last 15 years. And every time I do it, it's always a little bit different because I grow as a person. It evolves. I don't have one canned speech. You may hear things that are similar, but they're never the same. Because I'm always growing, I'm always seeing new things. So that's why I share this with you, is that don't wait, start. Know what's standing in your way, and being honest about what's standing in your way. Anytime someone says they want to be successful, something's standing in your way. I'm just going to tell you. When I did the talk, How Enemies Can Improve Your Life, I said there are people, situations, and things standing in your way right now. And people act like I should not think anyone's standing in my way. Yes, people are standing in your way. They are standing in your way. And they are actually enemies, too. But don't think of enemies as a hateful thing. Understand, anyone that is not your friend, that does not support your cause, is an enemy. And that is actually how it's defined in the dictionary. Anyone that is not your friend, who is not working to help you be better, is your enemy, because they are working against you right now for their own means and goals. But you got to be honest about what's standing in your way. Is it you? Is it your mindset? Or is it other things that are standing in your way? And the first thing that always stands in the way is who we are as individuals. We question ourselves. So I always tell everybody, you got to find out why you're questioning yourself. Now here's the thing. Has anyone ever seen anyone do this right here? You've been told what to do, how to do it, a way to do it, and you still won't do it. Anyone ever experienced that before? Anyone ever give advice like that before? You looked at them, you told them exactly what to do, how to do it, where to do it, when to do it, and it still won't do it. You want to know why that's the case? It's called self-conflict. It's self-conflict. People have hurts, habits, and hang-ups mixed up in their value systems. And they don't see themselves in the right potential light to accomplish what you were saying. Not because of education. Not because they don't think clear. It's because of who they are. A lot of times when you want people to accomplish more, you have to focus on who they are more than you're always giving them instructions on what to do. You got to understand what's blocking them. And we all deal with this thing called self-conflict. That's why it's so easy to give other folk advice, but not yourself. You have no self-conflict when you give other people advice, because it's so clear. Have you ever seen that before? It's so clear. Why don't they see it? Self-conflict is why. Now, how do you overcome self-conflict? Self-awareness is how you do it. I have reduced the amount of self-conflict in my mind because of self-awareness. Who I am, what I'm about, what I want to accomplish. I have to say this stuff to my own self. And it helps me flush away things that would slow me down. Things that would stop me. Things that would keep me from being what I want to be. But it's self-conflict. And you have to be around people. You have to work with people. You have to be in environments where you can deal with that kind of stuff. Okay. So the enemies of your success, you have to confront them. Here are the three: doubts, worries, and fears. Doubts, and worries, and fears. These are the three things that have stopped more dreams and goals from happening. And they have much fancier names too. They have I'm just saying doubts, worries, and fears. They have fancy names. Let me give you a fancy name for doubt. It's called resistance. You know, there's a man that wrote a book on that called Dealing with the Resistance of Life. Resistance has to do with doubts. You question yourself. Another enemy of your success is procrastination. People procrastinate. Why do they procrastinate? Because they worry about stuff. Is it good enough? Will it be done well enough? I want it to be perfect. And there is no such thing as perfect. It's only progress in life. Everything's got a flaw in it, even the pyramids. And they are said to be perfect. And they're off by inches. Everything has progress is the most important thing in your life. And then finally, the last one, of course, is this one. It's called drifting. And drifting comes from a book from Napoleon Hill called Outwitting the Devil. And what I realized is that I said, the things that plague us, writers have written about, but have not offered a pathway to dealing with them in a constructive way. And I saw all of this. I'm going to give you a fancy word. I started to codify everything that I had read and studied. Meaning I organized it in a pragmatic pathway to using it as a solution. And I realized that was my gift, was figuring out, based on all the elements, how they actually sync up. Then how to fix them at the same time. So I said to myself, resistance. Pressfield wrote a book on that, Fighting the Resistance. Because everyone has doubts in their hearts. That's why clarity is so important. Everyone procrastinates because they feel like they're not ready yet. So they got to get bigger than it. That's capacity. And people drift because they have no sense of certainty on what's supposed to happen in their life. They're just drifting along in the sea of possibilities. One of the blessings of this country and the worst thing of this country is called choice. You ever wonder how some countries are so productive? They don't have that many choices. They don't have that many choices. It's like, this is it. And that's why now I'm not saying they're happy. I'm saying they don't have any choices. And therefore they pick one and they go get it. They go after it. And then they travel from their country to America under that one thing they did. And they're the ones that own a lot of things all of a sudden. They own stuff. Because they didn't have any choices where they came from. And when they got here, they said, I'm going to do the same thing here, except now I have opportunities within this one choice. And they grow and prosper from that. Another thing, think about people that have become extremely successful in their careers. Ask yourself the question, where did they start from? Most of the people you hear tell stories started from the bottom. Now, if you're laying on your back, where can you look? That's it. Where else you going? Most of us live our lives in the middle. And when you live in the middle, you have a lot of additional fears and concerns. I can go up, I can go down, and I might not stay where I am. That's why self-awareness, that's why having the right mindset is so important. Having the right community is so important. Because it helps you deal with this. When people tell me about their bottomed out stories, I'm like, wow, it's going to be pretty easy for you to be successful. Because you have nowhere else to go. I got stuff to lose along the way. You have nothing to lose. So I've got to have a different attitude, a different mindset, so that I can accomplish what I want and succeed at the same level that you're succeeding. See, that's being honest about things. When you hear people tell their stories, being honest about it. Like, how did you really start? Where did you really start? Is there things I can model from it, but I can't model everything from it? So that's why it's so important to think about these things. There's my worry right there. And I know my time is probably coming up here, so I want to show you worry. And then fear. People have fears. And a sense of certainty is what helps people overcome their fears. I show this one right here a lot of times. Cornfield in the desert. When it comes to being successful, being in the right environment matters. The right environment. A lot of times you can't do things on an island by yourself. To be successful as you want to be, you must put yourself in the right environment for success to happen. A lot of times people stand away from the right environment and hope to be successful, and it doesn't happen like that. Once I decided where I wanted to speak, where I wanted to be, I put myself in that environment all the time so that good stuff will happen. If you have to put yourself in the right environment. And once you're in the right environment, now you're associating with the right people. And because you're associating with the right people, when opportunities appear, you can be more prepared for those. But you got to be in the right environment. As a leader in an organization, I always tell everybody environment is really important. A lot of times people will say this about culture. Well, Johnny, they asked me to come and speak about culture. They say, our culture is pretty bad, Johnny. And I said, it's bad. They said, yeah, the people, the culture is bad. And I'm like, who are you? And they said, well, we run the organization. I'm saying, it's your fault. It's your fault. You create the environment. What you want to see happen. Culture sits on top of environments. It doesn't sit under environments. Environment is leadership's responsibility. Then the culture grows from that, and then the people live within the culture. And they merely adapt to the values, beliefs, and perceptions of that culture. They don't control it. Leadership controls it. It amazes me how a lot of social media people think people control culture. They do not. Zuckerberg controls Facebook, not you. You can shut it off anytime he gets ready. You do not control culture. He set the jungle, and we live within the jungle. And anytime he wants to take from us, he can take from us. I'm not saying he's a bad guy, everybody. I'm just saying everyone can relate to that, right?
Right. Yeah.
You have what you have because he set the environment for that, the culture. Anytime he decides that is no longer the culture, it will not be the culture anymore. It will be different. And you all will adapt, as everyone does. That's why leadership is so important with environment, because you have the power. But in your life, you have the power to create the right environment for your own success and for the culture you want to have around you as well, meaning the people. That's a great thing I want you to keep in mind. We don't work hard for something that we don't care about. It's called stress. We work hard for something we love. It's called passion. Whatever you do in your life, you have to love it. Because you need to love it in the bad times. It's easy to love stuff when it's good. I mean, we got kids in here. You got to love them when they're bad. You know that, right? When they're messing up. You got to love them the same way. You can't just hold back the love because they're cutting out. But it's the same with your own success in your own life. You got to love it even when it's going hard. Sometimes my career is not going where I want it to be, but I still love it. And it's the passion that keeps me going. It's not passion when things are good. It's my passion really fires up when things are bad. So it's a different way of looking at what you're dealing with. I'm going to talk about goals at the TLI. So we'll go on with that. And the last thing is this. Say this right here, everybody. Oh my goodness. Did someone say, opportunity nowhere? Look again. Now you're Toastmasters and your minds are bad already. It's here if you're looking for it. See, here's the lesson. We've all been conditioned to not always see when opportunities are around us. Someone has to work with you on that. Someone has to help you continually see opportunities around you. That's why Toastmasters is so powerful, because it helps you to continue to grow and to develop and to discover. Opportunities are always around you if you're looking for them. If you know what you're looking for, they're always around you. But you have to have the courage to look and say, you know what, this is what I want, and I'm going to go after that. So if you ever write this out, show it to somebody, watch them do the same thing. Opportunity nowhere. Because of this, the chains of habits are too weak to be felt until they're too strong to be broken. You have a habit of not seeing opportunities. You have to develop the habit of seeing opportunities. You know, there are people that make a great living seeing opportunities and passing those on to other folk. A lot of people, they make a lot of money, have a lot of success because they see trends. You ever heard people say that before? I see trends? I spotted the trend because they saw an opportunity. Now, he might not have had the money or access to take advantage of it, but they should have told somebody else about it, and they benefited from it. So that's why it's so important for you to look for opportunities. And I know in the time I had to rush. Normally, this talk would be a much longer talk. It would be truly a full hour talk. But I knew I had limited time here. That's why I want you to come to the TLI, and you'll hear more of pieces of this particular talk here. I'm going to focus a lot on goals in the TLI. So there's going to be a lot on goals this particular time here. But what I wanted to do also was ask people, can they relate to this right here? Do you find it hard to motivate yourself to do the things you need doing? Do you find it even harder if the task is not enjoyable? Show of hands, anyone believe that right there? Have that feeling? Okay. Do you find your level of motivation at work low or erratic at best? You know about that 1 o'clock slump time, right after lunch. You know about it. Do you always put things off until the last minute and magic happens? That's procrastination. Do you feel there's something holding you back from getting the success you want? Show of hands on that. Something? That's the enemy. I'm here to tell you there is something working on you right now. And do you feel you deserve more out of your life? Show of hands. Anyone feel like you deserve more? Yes. Okay. So the reason I ask these questions is because everyone feels that way one time or another in their life. I felt that way on each and every one of those in my life. And I started to understand a pathway to that, and that's what I want to share. For the TLI, I brought these items here. The 7 habits that are holding you back and what to do about it. Because everyone's got 7 habits, and they're bad habits, but they're subtle and seductive. And you got to deal with them. Then there are the 7 people you need for an extraordinary life. And yes, everyone needs an enemy to have a great life. Enemies help you get up in the morning. I also created another one. It's called the business mindset. How we think and how we feel is how we achieve more. And it's all about mindset. I created some webinars as well. You know, I actually, because thanks to Zuckerberg, I have a private Facebook group community. And inside there is where I continue to share these kind of thoughts and ideas every single week. Because I'm trying to get everyone to condition themselves to think the right way so they can accomplish their own personal goals. And then I threw in the impromptu speaking secrets, which is how to speak off the cuff and never be stumped. So this is great for those that are in table topics, that love table topics, or are frightened of table topics. So I brought these things. The mindset, webinar, private, and impromptu are all digital. The CDs are here. When I'm talking to normal groups outside of Toastmasters, I do 147. I offer $97 here for anyone that's interested in that. But here's the thing about it. I won't let you die in the wilderness if you make this investment. You will be with me. It's not like you're going to get this and never hear from me. I'm the one constantly talking in your ear so that you won't give up, that you'll continue to believe in yourself. That's my promise to everyone here that makes the investment, that I won't let you die. I will continue to encourage you to do the things you want in your life. And these are tools to help you do that. For some in the room that want to be a speaker, I created a speaker series here. It's all audio. And I call it the Poor Man's Guide to Professional Speaking. Because I was dead broke when I got started. I had money to pay my bills, but not money to grow a business. So it was hustle and sweat. And a little creativity. And I talk about it in all of these 6 audio webinars. It's 247, but it's 147 for Toastmasters that are interested. So I brought these things here. The Personal Development Series Option 1 and the Option 2, 147, for those that want to be speakers. And I'll talk to those that want to be speakers about this in detail. My final thoughts are simply this right here. When you try to figure out in your life what's your purpose in life, I figured out this was my simple purpose in life. Was I want to inspire people. I want someone to look at me and say, because of you, Johnny, I didn't give up. I don't know what you want to accomplish in your life, but it's going to require you to not give up, to not question yourself, to be confident in where you want to be in your life. And sometimes you need a little help along the way to do that. And my goal is to be that help to those that are interested in me. Now, that will conclude my presentation. I know it's 8:01, and I don't know if we're going to get run out of here or what's supposed to happen. But I'm here to answer any questions, but I want to thank everybody for being here, and I want you to remember one important thing when it comes to your success, money, and happiness. The elevator to your success is broken, but if you're willing to do the work, the stairs to your dreams are always available.